Hello, this is the Crimson Fist with our game, Hacker Lockdown. Our game started out as an idle game where the player would hire hackers to work on contracts and build bots in order to get money. As we worked on the project, we realized many things weren't working for the idle game, like mini games. In month 2, we shifted to be more of a resource and time management game, where the player manages hackers to make money, but also focuses on other resources, such as food and fuel.
Early on, we were quick to move the game based on the negative feedback we got. We quickly learned how important it is to filter your feedback. Negative feedback is common to get early on when the game doesn't have form. So you have to wade through all that feedback for things that are tied to the core game loop. That's the feedback you should always prioritize and addressing. Tasking is also something we got better at prioritizing. At first, we chose tasks we wanted to accomplish and learn for growth, but we learned that tasking according to strengths and weaknesses is smartest early in development. It's important to get the prototype up and working quickly so that feedback is more relevant.
At the beginning of the project, much of the UI programming and planning we did was done in the Unity editor. As development grew further in the project, we found this to have been a poor decision, as managing the UI functionality through script is going to be a much more precise and manageable method. However, all the menus had become rather delicate and easy to break, so trying to redesign our menu navigation would become an intensive time sink. Moving forward, doing script-based management of UI navigation and function assignments to buttons will most efficiently be managed in code using a manager script. Keeping an open channel of communication with your team is also incredibly important for keeping development on track. That means get the Discord and Trello apps on your mobile and turn on notifications. Knowing what every member is working on and how they are contributing toward the week's goal, as well as how you fit into that goal, helps maintain team accountability and motivation. You don't want to let your team down.
The main gameplay of our game focuses around recruiting and managing the player's hackers. Hackers can be set at a desk in the player's base to work on a job and make money for the player. While working at a desk, hackers will consume food and their laptops will consume fuel. In order to get more food and fuel, the player will have to take the hacker off the desk and send him out on missions to collect these resources. Missions are timed objectives that make the hacker unavailable to the player until they return with the resources they have gathered. Completing these missions gives the hackers valuable world experience, making them more productive when they are working at a desk. As the player's hackers work away at their desks, the player gains experience, increasing the potential rewards they receive from jobs and missions, but also increasing the amount of time required to complete them. As the player's operation grows, the base can start to feel a little constricted, but players are able to purchase additional rooms, allowing them to continually expand their base. Players will eventually reach a point where they feel their progress slowing down. At this point, the player will be able to leave their base behind and start fresh, with bonuses to their new base because of the experience they gained in the previous one.
Some things we learned from working with the artists is you need to establish some type of rapport with the artist early on. Communicating with strangers about the project is difficult enough, so you have to get them invested in you and the project as quickly as possible, and that's easier if they like you. Be patient when working with them. Expect to have to redo work if you don't communicate well. If the artists aren't giving you what you want, it's probably because you didn't explain it well enough. When you give reference images, say what you want redone one for one versus what you want buried from the reference. Establish a routine of communicating and checking in regularly with the artist, and ask guided questions rather than posing suggestions on the progress. Sometimes when you see work in progress, it's not done enough for you to fairly judge, but sometimes you can catch problems as they are developing if you ask the right questions. It's important to keep the conversation open and inquisitive in order to make collaboration as smooth as possible. Thank you so much for taking the time to review our project.